The Anunnaki as a group of deities has been established in ancient civilizations. It was recognized that these gods influenced the lives of humans by playing the roles of creators, judges, and meaningful interactors with humans. This belief has its origins in the Mesopotamian civilizations such as Sumerian, Akkadian, Assyrian, and Babylonian mythology. The religious beliefs of that time considered them as gods, and their impact on humans was signified. Apart from their cultural significance for these people, modern perception of these beliefs suggests their presence on Earth in various periods of time. These interpretations include the extraterrestrial hypothesis that depicts the Anunnaki as extraterrestrial beings in parts of the universe. Ancient astronaut theory is another explanation of their presence on Earth. There might not be significant scientific evidence surrounding the subject, but an exploration of mythological beliefs surrounding the subject is beginning to attract interest for research in the field. Mythological texts such as the Epic of Gilgamesh, Atrahasis Epic, and the Sumerian King List provide the perfect foundation for research in this field. Various researchers in the modern world are exploring these beliefs and finding answers to the mysterious questions that have continued to disturb the minds of humans throughout history. So, the presence of Anunnaki as creatures on Earth better explains the mysteries of the universe. Before going into detail about the evidence surrounding Anunnaki as entities on Earth, it is important to have a little overview of its basic concept in ancient mythology. Etymologically, the word has its origins in the Sumerian language, which means those who from the heavens came, or princely offspring in Akkadian. They were considered to be a pantheon of gods and goddesses. They were portrayed in human shapes, but had great powers and knowledge. They had specific roles such as warfare, fertility, wisdom, and craftsmanship. For example, Enlil was the chief deity who was responsible for the wind. Enki had a portfolio of wisdom, magic, and water. Deities such as Inanna, Utu, and Nana compose the pantheon that is Anunnaki. In the ancient Mesopotamian religion, the worship of these gods was essential to the life of people. The archaeological evidence authenticates the culture of that time. This included the temples for these deities and various rituals signifying their importance in people's lives. Over time, the mythological texts that had origins of the concept of these gods were interpreted differently by the tradition. This suggested that in addition to being deities, they lived life with humans and influenced their lives in a myriad of ways. Modern understanding of the religious scriptures surrounding Anunnaki suggests that they are extraterrestrial beings that have impacted human life through interaction. One such theory is the extraterrestrial hypothesis. The proponents of this theory suggest that they were not deities in the sense that they were spiritual creatures. Instead, they took the form of flesh and blood. It was just that these creatures were present in different worlds in the universe. Ancient texts, such as Enuma Elish, delve into the idea and portray these deities as intervening and their quest for immortality. These extraterrestrial beings have shaped the human journey. They were very advanced in their technology, which made them superior to humans on Earth. Similarly, the ancient astronaut theory is another explanation of Anunnaki's existence on Earth. This describes them as creatures who guided ancient civilizations of Egypt, Mesopotamia, and the Americas. The guidance of extraterrestrial beings to the humans of Earth is authenticated by the cultural artifacts of that time. The proponents of this theory point to the archaeological evidence that has been recovered from these civilizations. This evidence portrays them as having advanced technology. Interpretation of mythological texts is yet another evidence of entities as creatures. Erich von Däniken, the author of Chariots of Gods, says,
"We are being watched by a non-human species, and we have been for 1,000 years. We are still watched today, but only a few people know it."
Arguably, one of the most important pieces of work in this field has been done by Zecharia Sitchin. He has written a series of books that have used mythological scriptures to show creatures that have resemblance to these gods as existing beings in our part of the universe. He started this discourse in his book, The 12th Planet. He described these deities as a race belonging to the planet Nibiru. Nibiru, he explained, is a planet that orbits the Sun in an elongated path, entering the inner orbit once every few thousand years. In one of his works, he has written,
"The Anunnaki came to Earth for the purpose of colonization, to obtain raw materials, especially gold, to repair the atmosphere of their home planet, which was failing."
The evidence of the Anunnaki presence on Earth can also be found in art and depictions. Various carvings and sculptures that have been found through archaeological discoveries point to these beings as having human-like figures. Modern technologies are also seen in these carvings. Various drawings of this kind have been found in Mesopotamian discoveries. In addition to these depictions, archaeological structures that have survived over time also suggest the modern technology that was incorporated into ancient civilizations. Modern science is silent on how some ancient civilizations could build sophisticated structures such as the pyramids. In fact, such structures are considered the wonders of the world just because of the fact that such construction would have been impossible without advanced technology. Other megalithic structures, such as the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, are yet another proof. This can also be interpreted alternatively to infer that some powerful and skilled entities taught these people of ancient civilizations the art of building such mega structures. All these arguments point to the same impression that Anunnaki were present on Earth and influenced life and society significantly. Comparative analysis of different mythologies also offers a foundation for studying the truth behind the Anunnaki presence on Earth. Mythological texts such as Enuma Elish, Atrahasis Epic, the Epic of Gilgamesh, and the Sumerian King List all have texts that can be linked to these deities as the creatures on Earth, and not some imaginary gods. For example, in the Epic of Gilgamesh, it is written, "You who have sought out the life I so dearly desire, let me find out which is unknown. I will go to the country where the cedar is felled." Proponents interpret this journey to distant lands as symbolic of a search for knowledge or technologies that could extend human life or grant godlike powers. Similarly, in the Sumerian King List, it says, "After the kingship descended from heaven, the kingship was in Eridu. In Eridu, Alulim became king. He ruled for 28,800 years." This long reign of kings is interpreted as their influence on human affairs. Likewise, the myths surrounding the discussion, such as the hymn to Enlil and descent of Inanna, suggest that the advanced technology in the ancient civilization can only be attributed to some creatures that were more advanced than others, the Anunnaki. These myths embark upon the other ideas of these entities because of their divine interventions, genetic engineering, and interactions with humans. Their presence can also be evidenced by the fact that there are various unsolved mysteries regarding the universe. These enigmatic happenings cannot be explained by science, just because it does not believe in the presence of extraterrestrial beings due to the lack of scientific evidence. However, these happenings can conveniently be explained through mythology, as it explains each and every mysterious happening of history. As a matter of fact, the anomalies in history and the mystery surrounding them can be justifiably made comprehensible through mythology. Anunnaki as extraterrestrial beings is an essential part of such mythology. It is important to explore some mythological texts that provide answers to the unsolved mysteries. In Enuma Elish, it is written,
He, Marduk, opened his mouth and addressed Ea to impart the plan he had conceived in his heart.
Ancient gods, extraterrestrial beings, are presented in this verse as performing acts of advanced planning and strategy. In the Atrahasis epic, it says,
At that time, none of the gods had been born, none bore a name, no destinies determined.
This verse is interpreted as suggesting a period before the creation of gods, and also the fact that some creatures such as the Anunnaki influenced the creations of gods. Mythological explanation of the universe is too great to be comprehensively discussed. However, the existence of ancient deities on Earth has been a topic of interest. Anunnaki as a pantheon of deities has a great significance in the ancient mythology of Sumer. The modern interpretation of this mythology is what explains their extraterrestrial existence in the universe. They have been influencing human lives through interaction and guidance. This has been explained through various verses in mythological texts. The archaeological evidence as well as the comparative analysis of the texts further proves their presence on Earth. If not this evidence, what else can explain the advanced technology of the Mesopotamian civilization that led to significant engineering feats of these times? Subscribe to the channel, and if you're thirsty for more knowledge, just play the video on the left of your screen.